The North Vietnamese MiG-21 pilot breaks through the cloud layer at 3,000 feet, eyes locked on his radar screen. There they are, fat, slow, bomb-laden F-105 Thunderchiefs plodding toward Hanoi. Easy prey. He and his wingman have done this dance before. Pop up through the clouds, launch a heat-seeking missile into the vulnerable bomber's tail, dive back down before the American escorts can react. Standard intercept doctrine. He arms his K-13 missile and accelerates towards the formation, adrenaline surging. But something's wrong. The bombers aren't trying to evade. They're turning toward him. Then he sees it, the distinctive twin-engine profile, the sharp nose. Not Thunderchiefs, Phantoms. F-4 fighters, fully armed, afterburners screaming. He's flown into a trap. Within seconds, an AIM-9 Sidewinder missile tears through his wing and his ejection seat fires. Below him, the biggest air battle of the Vietnam War has just begun, and it will be over in 12 minutes. The year is 1966, and the skies over North Vietnam belong to fear. Operation Rolling Thunder, America's massive aerial bombing campaign, is grinding through its second year, sending waves of Republic F-105 Thunderchief fighter bombers north to strike targets around Hanoi. But the thuds, as pilots call them, are dying. Laden with bombs and fuel, flying predictable routes at predictable times, they're being slaughtered by nimble Soviet-built MiG-21 interceptors. The MiG-21 is a missile with a cockpit, small, fast, deadly. North Vietnamese pilots, guided by ground radar controllers, have perfected a lethal doctrine. Avoid the American F-4 Phantom escort fighters at all costs, and ambush only the vulnerable bombers. If radar shows F-4s approaching, the MiGs don't take off. If Phantoms try to engage during an attack, the MiGs simply return to their bases, which American rules of engagement prohibit bombing. It's a perfect asymmetric strategy. The thuds keep falling. Colonel Robin Olds arrives at Ubon Royal Thai Air Force Base in Thailand on September 30th, 1966, to take command of the 8th Tactical Fighter Wing, the Wolfpack. He's 44 years old, twice the age of most fighter pilots, but he's also a double ace from World War II, with 12 kills flying P-38s and P-51s over Europe. The Wolfpack is demoralized. His predecessor flew only 12 combat missions in 10 months. Olds immediately puts himself on the flight schedule as a rookie pilot, telling his young officers to train him properly because soon he'll be leading them. Within weeks, he's earned their respect. But respect doesn't kill MiGs. Olds studies the problem with his tactics officer, Captain John Stone. The North Vietnamese have gamed the system perfectly. American Phantoms can beat MiG-21s in a fight. The F-4 carries more missiles, has better radar, superior endurance, but there are no fair fights because the MiGs won't engage. Can't bomb their airfields, can't force them into combat. Then Olds has an idea so audacious it seems impossible. If the MiGs won't fight Phantoms, make the Phantoms invisible. The plan he devises with Stone is elegant deception. F-4 Phantoms will impersonate F-105 Thunderchiefs in every measurable way. They'll fly the exact routes the thuds use. Same altitude, same speed, same formation spacing, same radio call signs taken from American car manufacturers, Ford, Rambler, and inevitably Olds. Most critically, the Phantoms will carry QRC-160 electronic countermeasure pods, the jamming equipment F-105S used to defeat surface-to-air missiles. When North Vietnamese radar operators see these signatures, slow aircraft at bombing altitude with F-105 jamming patterns, they'll vector their MiGs to the intercept without hesitation. Olds presents the plan to 7th Air Force Commander General William Momia on December the 22nd. Momia approves immediately and assigns the codename BOLO, after the Filipino machete that doesn't look like a weapon until you're too close to escape. Maintenance crews spend days inspecting every aircraft, cleaning every system, loading AIM-7 Sparrow and AIM-9 Sidewinder missiles. Originally scheduled for New Year's Day, bad weather delays the mission 24 hours. January 2nd, 1967. 48 F-4 Phantoms launch from Ubon in waves, their call signs echoing over the radio like a Detroit auto show. Additional F-4s from the 366th Tactical Fighter Wing approach from the east to block escape routes to China. Olds leads the first flight, Olds Flight, arriving over Phuc Yen Air Base 30 kilometers north of Hanoi at 3 p.m. local time. Thick overcast complicates the mission. They orbit the target area at the altitude and speed of Thunderchiefs, their jamming pods broadcasting the electronic signature of a bomber strike. On the ground, North Vietnamese radar operators see exactly what they expect. They scramble between 11 and 14 MiG-21s from the 921st Fighter Regiment. The MiG pilots, including future ace Nguyen Van Kock, climb through the clouds using their standard attack pattern, emerging sequentially from multiple directions to bracket the bomber formation. The shock is total. Instead of panicked Thunderchiefs jettisoning bombs and fleeing, the MiG pilots find themselves facing Phantoms with full air-to-air armament and pilots spoiling for a fight. Olds spots the first MiG at his 6 o'clock, pulls into a climbing vector roll, 45 degrees nose up, rolling right while hanging nearly inverted, times his descent perfectly and fires 2 Sidewinders from 4,500 feet behind. One tears off the MiG's right wing. Captain Phil Combes bags another. Rambler Flight, led by Captain Stone, destroys 3 more. Ford Flight, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Chappie James, Olds' deputy and former Tuskegee airman, claims another. The dogfight is absolute chaos. Aircraft twisting through clouds, missiles streaking, pilots fighting in 3 dimensions. But it's over in 12 minutes. American claims 7 MiG-21s destroyed, 2 probable. Vietnamese sources confirm 5 destroyed, 1 pilot forced to eject due to fuel starvation from combat damage. Either way, the Wolfpack has just annihilated nearly half of North Vietnam's operational MiG-21 force without losing a single aircraft. The impact is immediate and devastating. North Vietnam grounds its MiG-21s for 4 months to recover, re-equip, and fundamentally rethink tactics. Vietnamese and Soviet advisors conduct intensive after-action reviews, identifying failures in doctrine, training, and command decision-making. It's one of the worst days in Vietnam People's Air Force history. Operation BOLO proves a timeless lesson. In aerial warfare, the greatest weapon isn't speed or missiles. It's making your enemy see what isn't there.